Hi everyone. I'm hoping this is third time lucky. I'm sorry that um, having some technical issues. I believe they thought I was going to go live on my own particular page, but we're actually going live here on the Travel to Niger Instagram page. So my guest should be requesting to join shortly, and I am just waiting for them to. Oh, perfect. Perfect. Invited our guest for today. Before I start the intros, so I'm hoping. Um, hello. Good evening, Mr. Larry. How are you?
Hi, Sassy Funke. Good evening. How are you?
Not bad myself. And you, I hope you're well.
Well, yeah, I'm good. I'm good. Good to
Good,
see you, you know?
amazing. You too, you too. So everyone, super excited today. A quick intro. I am going to obviously be hosting the MD of Greenhills Cassava Farmstead today on the Travel to Niger, page. I know some of you out there may be, interested in investing in cassava farming or just have questions and queries with regard to investing in Nigeria. And I think that's where, this opportunity to actually speak directly to the MD of someone that is doing something incredible in, Nigeria is, I guess it's a unique one and one that everyone should leverage on the platform. The plan is to run this for about 30 minutes. We're going to start with a 10-minute sort of like intro for Mr. Landry, sort of get us to, want to get to know a little bit about you, because some people might not have never heard about Greenhills before or who you are, right? So, but we want to give enough time to give people the opportunity to ask questions. Some people have left questions on YouTube, which I'm going to be posing to you. But if any of you out there want to ask any questions, please, there's an icon at the bottom right of your screen with a question mark in a bubble. Just use that to put in your questions in there. And this platform is for investing. I know some of you might have other questions with regard to travel. We'll do another Instagram live for that in the future. But for now, welcome the MD of Greenhills Cassava Farmstead, Mr. Olariwaju Osifeso. Thank you so much for joining us. Let us know a little bit about you.
Thank you, Sassy Funke. Hello, everyone. It's so good to be with you guys this evening. Happy Sunday to you. I'm speaking to you from Lagos, Nigeria. Okay, so my name is Olariwaju Osifeso, and I'm the Managing Director of Greenhills Cassava Farmstead. Now, what is Greenhills Cassava Farmstead, you may want to ask? So Greenhills Cassava Farmstead is an agro-allied company, which basically is into commercial farming, and our major produce is cassava. And what we do is, from the success of our mother farm, which is San Jose Cashew Farms, I had a lot of people come around to us to ask, us to help them on their farms. And we decided to come up with a community of, farms managed by one company. So that means Sassy can have a farm on the farmstead. I can have my farm on the farmstead. Everyone in the community, on Sassy's community, or in Sassy's community, can have their own farms within the farmstead. And the farm belongs to you. You buy the land, and we help you manage this farm, right? So the beauty about this now is it's on the large scale. It's on about 10,000 hectares. But what we have decided to do, because of the villages and communities within the land, we've decided to just carve out an area that is purely vegetation, and that is about 2,000 hectares. The farm is located in Ogun State, at Olorin Shogo in Ogun State, and we've done the clearing on about 100 hectares, and we've cultivated close to about 40 hectares on the farm, and we're pushing ahead. In a nutshell, so that's what we're about. Yes.
Amazing. And I think, I've actually personally been on the farm. I don't know if some of you have actually gone to my YouTube channel, and I shared a lot of information. I actually went to the farm myself. I saw the progress that the team were making on there. I can see lights. It's okay. I think they took the lights. Typical. It's normal Nigeria life. So I guess one of the questions people may have, let's dive straight into the Q&A, right, is in terms of returns, because people are always very quick to be like, okay, how do I make money? Like, how does it work?
Okay, so Sassy Funke, this is what we do basically. So we help you cultivate. It's just basic farming, right? When you farm, when you cultivate on your farm, right, you basically produce a certain crop or whatever it is that you make on the farm. You produce on your farm. It could be. It depends. It could be livestock, and it could be arable, depending on what you want to do. So we are into, of course, like I mentioned, we're into crop farming, and it's cassava that we produce. So what we do is, you just ensure that your yield, you have maximum yield on whatever you're doing, on the farm, and that way once you have a maximum yield, it's easier to, sell with the quality. Of course, you have to have the right quality as well. And it's easier to sell off. Yes, it's easier to sell off your produce, and then that's how you make your monies on the farm. It's basically that.
Okay, and just to clarify that, with regard to the processing of selling it, that's something Greenhill handles directly, right? Because a lot of people that are joining here are actually based, I believe, mostly abroad, not in Nigeria, right? So just to give them context in terms of, yeah.
Okay, so what we help to also do is, so when you purchase a farmland from our farm, we do the whole 9 mile. We start by clearing your land for you. You own the property, but then we clear the land for you. We help you prepare the soil. We cultivate for you. We manage the farm for you. We harvest for you, and we also do a buying back system if you want. Because when we harvest, we sell the crops at the current market price. Currently as we speak, cassava is going for about 31,000 naira per ton. Excuse me, about 31,000 naira per ton, right, on average. And on average, you can get about 20 to 25 tons on a hectare. So you just multiply that, of course, by your, that is how you get to know what your yield is going to provide for you in terms of returns. That's how you calculate your margins. And of course, it's not always 2 plus 2 equals 4. Can you call this, guys? It's not always 2 plus 2 equals 4, right? So yeah, so sometimes there are like issues here and there, on the farm, of course, but you try to always ensure that you have a maximum yield, and that helps you. That helps you, cover whatever loss you make on the farm. So when you have your farm with us, we ensure that we provide the proper farm for you, and we manage the whole farm for you, and give you the returns at the current market price. And how do you know what the current market rates are? Of course, you can go online to verify this fact, and also we send out newsletters, and we're also coming up with a web app, which we're trying to, which of course is currently undergoing some, modifications. It's about 75% completed at the moment, so by January, towards the end of January, February, we should be fully up and running on the web app. And this web app gives you access to your farm. You can visit your farm remotely, wherever you are in the world. You can actually, it's a new software that's just being developed. So you can visit the farm remotely from your laptop. You can see what's going on the farm. Although it's not going to be a live feed, but of course it's going to be recorded. Yeah, it's going to be a recorded feed, but we'll be updating it, every other 2 weeks thereabout. So you can see what's happening on the farm. You can see the status of your farm. You can see, it's, the cassava crop is, maybe on at a 60% completion stage, or, ready for harvest. And also we have the statistics on the web app that shows you, your expected time, the expected time of harvest, because cassava is you can call cassava an annual crop, because you start to harvest cassava from the 10th month, so we can tell you, expect a harvest to be, by so and so period. And sometimes there are factors that might affect, certain operations on the farm. It could be, whatever it is, right? So you can then tell you, this factor, hampered such operation. Hence, this has been shifted to this date, so all of that, So what it's basically, we're helping you farm. It's you own your farm. We're just helping you run the farm, manage the farm for you.
Right.
So it's not, we're not asking you to, so it's basically that.
Actually, I want to touch on a specific question. Suzanne Chen on YouTube asked a question. She said, is that guaranteed, that return on investment, 18% on your website, or is it just a reference? What if the company can't give profits? What is the company going to do? So I guess it's also similar to what you just said with regard to, obviously sometimes there are issues that are not in your control, right? And so in those circumstances, I guess it's just communicating maybe the delay.
So allow me to come in here. Apologies, right? So I mean, last year there was a pandemic. Everyone knew about it, but no one was expecting it, right? And
Right.
I mean, it affected a lot of farmers. It affected so many major big farmers, big, you know, the big guys, the top dogs, all of that. You know, farmers because there was a lockdown, no one could access. Even though I had an essential pass, I as a farmer could move around. But what about the laborers? What about the farm workers? What about the tractor operator? The tractor operator who is not a farmer, you know, they will not grant him access to the farm. He can't leave his house. You see, and there was a lockdown, and you know, it was intense, right? So such factors can come up, right? But with all of this, you know, we send out information. We try to you know, post whatever it is that is happening currently on the farm. We share it out with everybody. You know, aside that, the 18% quoted on the farm on our ROI is not a fixed ROI. We're not telling you guys, please give us money and we'll double your money for you in 10 months. No, we're telling you, we are going to buy your, you know, come and buy a farm. You own the land. We give you the title documents, everything, right? And we help you just cultivate, which is also a way by which we help you maintain the farm, or we help you hold on to the farm and to prevent encroachment. I mean, the land, because you have properties, you know, you can buy a property and by the time you come back, you want to use it, it's already been encroached into, right? But when we're managing your farm for you by farming on it, right? We definitely we're preventing a lot of factors, you know, such as encroachment and all of that, you know. And we decided to do cassava because it's a major staple food here in Nigeria, and also it's gaining a lot of ground. Yeah, it's gaining a lot of ground in the local and international market, and the demand for cassava is really on the rise because you realize for the animal feed. For instance, I'll share something with you guys. So recently, I don't know if I can share it now, but yeah, so we're looking at partnering with the Netherlands government for food promotion and security. You know, yeah, so we had that meeting. They sent me an email last week regarding this, you know. So we're looking at how to convert certain food produce that we throw away, you know, that we call waste. For instance, the cashew apple and the cassava. You know, I'm in both fields. I'm in the cashew, I'm in the cassava. You know, that is as Greenhills for the cassava and San Jose for the cashew. Remember, we started with cashew.
Right.
You know, so and with the cashew, you just have the cashew apple, you know, and the value in the whole cashew is the nuts, right? That's what the cashew nuts you eat, right? So people, when they want to harvest it, they throw away the apple and they sell the nuts, right? So the Netherlands, you know, group of people are looking at coming together. They form the consortium to see how they can actually convert that apple, you know, from waste, you know, to create value from it, you know, process it to create maybe, you know, so, and also likewise with the cassava peels, a lot of people just throw it away. You know, now it's being used for animal feeds, but then they're looking at how they can also convert it into certain value. So there are means by which we're going to make profits from this market. It's not like I mentioned. Anyone who knows about agriculture will tell you, look, 2 + 2 is never 4. You understand? I would not come to tell you. Yeah, I would never come to tell you, hey, you know, but that is just plain safe. The 18% is a safe, is what we have done, tested, and it's trusted. We have seen that if we should plant cassava, you know, the least we will get, you know, to return back to people, you know, will be an 18%. Because how did we calculate the 18%? We're not farming for you for free, right? Yes, you buy the land from us, right? But then how do we make our monies from this? So when you buy this property, right, we give you, you know, when we sell it, for instance, it's selling at 30,000 naira per ton now, right? And then we make an average of maybe between 25 tons to 30 tons, depending on how well we cultivate, or between 20 to 25 tons. And if you run that arithmetic, you know, you multiply by that by 31,000 naira, 35,000 naira, as it were, you know, it comes to a certain amount. And when you run that numbers again, we take 30% from the profits. You know, that's Greenhills. Whatever it is we cultivate, we deduct 30%, and then we give the owners of the property 70%. You see, so what, you know, it's basically us working for you, and it's also a means by which we're trying to encourage agriculture and farming in Nigeria, because I advocate for that amongst the youths in Nigeria to say, hey guys, you know, we can do this. And when we started this, it was really interesting, you know, but because a lot of people want to go into farming, but they're scared of many factors. They're scared of, oh, Larry, I can't leave my comfortable home in Lekki, or I can't leave my comfortable home in Ikeja, you know, to go all the way to the village to farm, you know. I cannot afford, I don't even have the money to start. Okay, if I buy the land, I don't have the money to get a bulldozer to clear my land, to start, you know, all of that. Oh, I don't have the power to fight land grabbers. I don't have that energy, you know what I'm saying? So, so different factors. Oh, I don't even know anything about agriculture. And this now brings me to how we also have technical partners, right? We have one of the top, one of the most recognized cassava farmers in Nigeria, and not just farmers, cassava farming farmers and processors. Is also, that is the Niji Group, NIJI.
Okay.
They're one of the major frontiers of of cassava production in Nigeria. One of them, and I'm also working with a company called an international-based company called AgriDrive. So those are the two technical partners that we have that are working with us on the farm. So we're trying this. It costs us a whole lot of money, but we're trying to just make it perfect. We're not trying to, because we can't play with people's investments. You see what I mean? So, we have the technical guys to come, to encourage, not just to encourage, checkmate everything we're doing, and to also indirectly, they do the work. Basically, they see us through what we do, what we do. So that's what it is in a nutshell. Yes.
Amazing. Okay, I'm conscious of time. I saw a question from Abilola22. Says, what is the minimum one can invest? So in terms of how much, what is the minimum one can invest?
Okay, so I always advise people, right? Don't see this as you're buying land, right? Because when you talk about the minimum, you don't want to put in some money into an investment. The minimum is basically, I think, about between an 800,000 naira, which is about maybe £1,000 £1,300, $1,200 kind of thing, for 3 plots of land, for 3 plots of land, which is a plot is about 60 square meters, so 60 square meters in 3 places, right? That's about the 3 plots. But why do you want to have all of that on 3 plots? And at the end of the day, your ROI, the profit to be getting, the profit to be getting will be about, will be very minimal. It's not, there's nothing to write home about. You imagine after 10 months you're earning 50,000 naira. That's about less than $100 after 10 months on your investment. It's not really, but when you're making a return on investment of about $250, $300, $400, it's more encouraging, right? So why not just go for and it's your property, you own the land, right? You own it. And why we're doing this is because I did also mention that we're going to engage everybody, because by the time you make this payment, by next year, you're not making any payment, but we cultivate on the farm for you and we still give you another 70%, right? Because we're trying to encourage this. The 3rd year, the same thing. The 4th year, the same thing. We run that for 7 years. And by this, we want to ensure that, for the next 7 years, we want to believe that you would have been acquainted with whatever it is with agriculture, because we're trying to set up farm owners. We're not trying to set up an investment portal or an investment system. We're trying to just have people own farms, that way, when you see the kind of returns you're making, it might encourage you to go and set up something bigger in your homeland or your family or where you're from, your hometown. You see, so then by the 7th year, if you still feel you want Greenhills to manage the farm for you, then we now renegotiate our agreements. We now do a 50-50. We do a 50-50 split, because we can't be working for free. So basically that is it. So the 18% based on the lady's question is just to be on the safer side. And the minimum land is 3 plots. It's 3 plots. But I always advise people go for 1 hectare. When you have a hectare of land, your returns is better. Because with agriculture, the more you cultivate, because it's the same energy that you put into 3 plots that I'm going to put into 1 hectare for you. So why not just have the 1 hectare, right? And the more the land, or the bigger the land, the more the yield, quote and unquote, and the more the yield, the more your expected profit, basically. So why not just put in the same energy into that?
Amazing. Thanks for that. That was quite succinct. Another question from, someone brought this up. Rock_JK3004 said, what about rice farming? You can answer that directly, because
oh yeah, so we are doing something with rice, actually, called there's this local rice in Nigeria called Ofada rice. Yeah, we have something little. We're setting that up, but we want to see how the market goes. Rice farming, I'll tell you, anything in agriculture is good, whatever aspect you decide to go, either cassava, vegetables, oil palm, name it, soya beans, sesame, whatever it is you want to cultivate, anything, it's good. And this is because it's sustainable. You will definitely have a market for it. Sometimes the price might fluctuate, might go against you, but everyone consumes food, right? So there's always a market. Just make sure you have a good quality. Just make sure your product is of good quality, you know, and then of course you will have people that will offtake your goods, your market. And with all of that, with rice farming, yeah, I think it's a good thing to do. Just make sure you have to have a good irrigation system in place. And because rice requires a lot of water, you know, cassava on the other hand, we don't require so much water. Cassava is a very rugged crop. You can work during, you know, in dry season. It does well in the dry season. It does well in the rainy season. You know, it's a very durable crop. But with rice, you need to do a lot of what they call capital expenditure. You know, you have to do a lot of setting up of irrigation systems. You know, have a lot of monitoring systems. The birds and all these other animals are really attracted to rice and all these crops as well. So you have to also put a lot of systems that chase away all of those things. Alarm systems, and when birds are intruding, the alarm goes off, so it scares birds away and all of that. So there's a lot of investment to start up, but I would always also say that it's a good investment to do in the long run.
Good. All right, yes. We still have more questions coming. Abilola22 said, thank you with regard to your question about the farm. Said, how many plots makes an hectare? Do you do poultry? So I think isn't it about 15 plots? How many plots makes an hectare?
15 plots. 15 plots.
Oh,
15 plots make a hectare.
Perfect. And you also said, do you do poultry?
No, not yet.
No, poultry.
So what I try to do, because see, whatever it is you're doing, I'm sorry. I know the time is running. Okay, let me allow you to speak. Go ahead.
That's okay. No, go ahead.
It's your show.
Time. As long as you have the time, we can always go over. It's fine.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. So with poultry, you see, with agriculture, you have to be focused right there. You can't be everywhere at the same time because it needs so much attention. You can't be in the cassava farm today and because again, it's capital intensive, right? So you can't have your funds in poultry. You're trying to put money in cassava. You're trying to put money in rice, setting up irrigation system and all of that. You see, it could be very cumbersome and very draining. So it's best to just take it one step at a time. You achieve a milestone, you can then move on to the next. You achieve a milestone, you move on to the next. You achieve the milestone, you move on to the next. So if you want to do all of that, yeah, it's advisable. Poultry is good. I have friends who do poultry and are making good monies from it.
Amazing.
Thank you. Thank you.
Ebi Wariap, she said, what is the percentage to invest with Greenhills Cassava Farmstead? I guess maybe the question is like, how much are the different tiers? So for example, for a hectare, because you already mentioned for the minimum 3 plots, but for the hectare, how much is it for them to invest?
So the hectare comes to about 2.6 million naira, which is which is roughly about 5,000 if I'm not mistaken, about $5,000. Yeah, they're about between $5,000, $4,800, $4,900. Yeah, about $5,200. I just got corrected. Thank you. $5,200. So with $5,200, you get about 15 plots of land, and that covers your land clearing, that covers land preparation, that covers cultivation, that covers farm management, which the operating cost is a lot. Trust me, because we're spending a lot of money on weeding, all of that. Labor, that covers logistics. Harvest and its logistics. And I will tell you something for free. Anyone will tell you that the cost of harvesting your cassava is almost the cost of your farm of cultivating, of land preparation, cultivating, and almost part of your farm management. So harvesting is an operation. Yes, harvesting is an operation on its own because you are pulling out. You are paying people who would help you uproot that, and we do manual harvesting. And this is because when you use mechanized, when we use the harvesters, they have, I don't know if you can see my fingers, they have finger-like prongs, at the back of the trailer. Yeah, so it just goes into the soil. So it is the soil. It goes into the soil, and the tractor keeps pulling it. So that way it uproots the tubers. It digs out the tubers from the ground, right? And most times, because of how sharp that metal is, it slices the tubers. It damages some of the tubers because some of the tubers, it's a root tuber, so it comes in different shapes. It's not really smooth. It's not really in a particular shape. So you can have a tuber that will go this way. You can have a tuber that will go this way. So it destroys the tubers at the end of the day. Part of the tubers. So people prefer manual harvesting manually. So you have to pay guys who operate the tubers and then the dust, and they now have to pay another set of women who would transport it to where the truck is, Now, the good thing is there is a new system. That's what we are trying to, that's what we've been working on the past 3 days now. There's a system, not so new. Some companies used it in Nigeria, and we're trying to get their innovation and all of that. I don't know if I can call the name of the company, but it's a foreign-based company that they're doing a lot of cassava production here in Nigeria. And they have this machine, that runs through the farm, containerized factory. It's a small mini factory in a shipping container with wheels, So as it runs through the farm, right, the women, instead of taking the raw cassava tubers to the truck, because the cassava, when you harvest the cassava, within 48 hours, you have to get it to the factory. Otherwise, the starch content drops, right? So, they have now done this innovation whereby they don't even have women transporting it to the truck, because sometimes the truck might break down on the road, whatever it is. Right? So they just start throwing the cassava into there. So the machine processes that cassava into something called cassava cake. Now, when you have the cake, cassava cake is now a semi-processed produce from cassava, that can last longer, and has a better storage system. The shelf life is longer, so you can actually then transport it wherever. You can send it from there to the north. You can send it from there to the south, to a factory in the south, to go and process, your cassava into starch or flour, as it were. So we're looking into that as well. We don't know the cost of that yet, but we're trying to engage the company to see how they can, we're engaging with them on that. We've not yet reached out to them, but we're still trying to get in touch with them, because we just got the information that they have that system, so we're trying to get that from them as well.
Amazing.
Yeah. So back to your question. I think the minimum cost is about so we have 3 hectares. The minimum is 3 hectares, which is about like I mentioned.
3 plots.
Yes, the three plots. Sorry, not the 3 hectares. Yes. 3 plots. Yes, which comes to about 800. About 700. About 1,000 pounds. $1,200, $1,300 thereabout. And the maximum is about 2.6 million naira. Now the 2.6 million naira. So have I answered this question? I think so. Yeah. No.
Yes, you have. You have actually. Yes, you have. You have.
Right.
You
because I just got a signal that I had to answer the question. So thank you.
Yeah, you have. You have.
Right.
Okay. So Modupe Maba Yoje. Sorry if I'm saying these things wrong. Names wrong. Actually said, can you manage? So you probably came in late to the live session, right? That is exactly what Greenhills does. They actually help you manage the farm that you buy, right? So that's that question.
No, we manage the farm that you buy from us. So we don't go to other farms. We don't go to other farms because it's too cumbersome for us, But we can help. We can consult for you if you need us, to get you to our technical partners to set up a farm for you. We can introduce you and all of that free of charge. We can help you do free consultations and all that stuff.
Oh, that's great. I'm sure some people might take that up.
Yeah.
So, next question. Segun Senator said, is 18% the maximum one can expect, or it can be more depending on the sales price in a given season? So you definitely came late again, because Mr. Larry actually spoke to this, said, yes, it actually depends on the demand in the market and the price in the market. So it's not necessarily the maximum. And obviously, also, it's not necessarily the minimum, because things might fluctuate, right?
Yeah, it's just playing safe. It's just being, playing safe. It's a safe landing.
Got a question here from Unlimited Favor 8. He said, can location be a factor to your company? Like, for instance, Ibadan farmland. I'm not sure if you understand what he's trying to say, because I'm not quite sure.
Well, if I think I understand, I think he's talking about proximity here.
Okay.
Well, location, when it comes to farming, most farms are in rural areas, right? You can't find a farm in the city, a commercial farm in the city. How do you find a commercial farm in the city? So what most people do is they have their commercial farm in the rural area, and they have a processing farm or a processing site not so far from there. And there are different locations. You have farms in Ibadan, you have rural areas of you have farms in Ogun State, you have farms in, anywhere outside Lagos. But another thing, when you have your farm in Ibadan and it's cassava. I am not processing the cassava, and I want to supply a company. I'm not going to mention the name, but whoever is into cassava, whoever, they would probably know themselves. And I want to supply a company in Ijebu-Ode at Ososa, and I supply them. All right. So if I'm taking my produce to their company, their factory at Ososa, from Ibadan, that is a major distance. All right. So you have to look at one, cost of logistics. How much will it cost me to move a 30-ton truck of cassava tubers from Ososa? So that's probably already half of your profit is going out because of logistics. That's a lot. You understand? So you need to consider these factors. You need to look at proximity. How far is my farm from the processing site? You can't have a farm, because you're looking for a rural area to have a farm. The cassava. Some other crops have a very long shelf life where you can have the farm. I mean, you produce, you harvested, and 2 weeks after, you still have your produce there. Like for instance, rice. You can, beans, all those things, soya beans. They're good. But when it comes to cassava, it has a very short shelf life, and that's why most times people store their cassava in the soil. If you're not ready to sell, don't harvest. Leave it in the soil because it can still stay in the soil for another 18 months, right? So wherever it is, if you're looking for off-takers, you don't have a good deal with the off-taker that is sending you an offer, and you're looking for other off-takers, you leave your cassava in the soil, and when you get a good deal, you sell your cassava tubers, And of course, we also tell our investors, because you own the farm, Greenhills is not in total control. You can call us to say, hey, guys, I have an off-taker. I don't want you to sell my produce to that company because how much are you guys selling my produce for? We tell you, we give you a price. You can say, no, we don't want to sell my produce for 31,000 naira. You can look at you can say that your own hectare, you want your hectare to be sold to a company, and that's your hectare, you should sell it to a company that you've gotten a deal for maybe 45,000 naira. Of course, we will tell you, by all means, please go ahead. You can even say, hey, leave my cassava for me. Don't harvest my cassava. I want to come back. I want to make gari from my cassava on my hectare. So you leave your cassava. Yeah. People have different. It's your farm. People have different interests. What they want to use their produce for. We can't compel you. We can't force you. It's your property. We can't force you to do what you want to do. Right? It's just part of our contract to say we'll help you sell. Does not mean that we must sell, right? But when you sell, whatever you do your produce, if you even make gari from it, please give us our 30%, because we're entitled to that 30%. Whatever you do your farm, if you don't sell your produce, go and look for money and give to us. We demand 30% from it. So whatever. So it's a win-win situation, wherever it is. And we also encourage, investors, people who own farms on the farm. I like to call them farmers than calling them investors. We like to encourage, farmers to come to the farm, visit the farm. A lot of them come to the office. A lot of them, Sassy Funke, this, they go to the farm, we take them, we have a vehicle that will drive them down to the farm. It's a bumpy ride. Of course, you're going to the farm. You're not driving on Lekki Link Bridge. You understand? It's a bumpy ride, yeah. But then again, they get to the farm, and then they like what they see. That truth be told, we're really putting in a lot of efforts, and I thank God for it.
Amazing. So another question from Ola Gidi Adesoya. He said, do you now have the cassava processor online?
Not yet. So we've contacted a company in China, called Miyande. We're working heavily on that. It's a heavy investment. The processing line for starch costs about $1.1 million, and we're trying to raise that funds from the Bank of Industry here in Nigeria. We're working on our application and all of that here. Of course, it's not a walk-in and walking out with cash kind of thing. You know how it is. So there's a system, there's due process. They have to check you. They have to do all of that. So we're already on it. We've been on it for about a month, but we're very close, and it looks like, of course, there's much progress. Of course, the company fabricating this machinery, the processing line is called Miyande Group in China, Southern Province in China. And they've told us that it take about 6 to 8 months for construction and delivery. So it takes about 6 to 8 months for them to construct and also deliver. So we're looking at towards the end of next year, all things being equal, God willing and spread alive, for us to get the processing line in place. And of course, when we now get it, there'll be 1 or 2 hitches. You know how it is, errors here and there, hitches here and there. So, before you're fully settled or before you fully get acquainted with the machinery and all of that, although they said they'll be there to train us and, to guide us through the whole, system. So we're looking at fully processing by, 2023, God willing and spread alive. and by then, we'd have also expanded our farm, of course, by about 200%, from what we have now, because we need to have a backward integrated system. We can't be dependent on other farmers, local farmers. Otherwise, the price, they'll monopolize the price.
Of
So we
course,
have to have a
yeah.
system that we have our own crops, that we produce, and then we feed the processing line with. But that does not now mean that the farmers that buy farms from us would have a stake in the processing factory. No, Greenhills actually is the processing factory.
Okay. Ooh. Connection. Hoping the connection comes back. Can you guys hear me? Like, leave a comment if you can hear me right now. If it's I want to know if it's my connection or Mr. Larry's connection. Like, can you hear me? Just leave a comment if you say I hear you. So you guys, can you hear me? Like, leave me a comment if you can hear me. Can you hear me? Let me put it. Okay, it seems we got disconnected from Greenhills. I'm sure they're going to try and come back again. Okay, perfect. It seems he went off. I'm going to try and get him back on again. Just bear with me. I'm hoping you guys are really enjoying this session and are finding it valuable. Like, let me know, are you enjoying the session so far? We're going to come to a close very soon. So if you have any last minute questions, make sure to share. Yes. Okay, perfect. Okay. We're back online again, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you. So basically, I was just trying to explain, that even though, the processing line system, the factory we're trying to set up, so I mean, it's also a way to ensure that all the produce we produce, all the cassava we produce on the farm, would have an offtake system, so we're not begging people, we have, because at the end of the day, by the time the farm is in full operation, producing close to about 300,000 tons, I beg your pardon, 300,000 tons of raw cassava tubers, and that is a whole lot of cassava tubers we're producing in a year. So where do we take all of that to? And when you know that all of this, you have all of that, you'll be forced to, price you down, kind of thing.
Right, of
exactly.
course.
So, but when you know you have a consumption power, you consume your product, you can consume your own products, then then you have the monopoly. You can actually take whatever price. Okay, because I need my produce, but since you're also in more need, I can sell you some of it at this price. You see, so that's what happens, right? So that's also what we're trying to establish here. And the good thing is not just a local market; it's also an international market. So, and as we all know, agriculture is picking up pace. The sector is they're really shedding a lot of light. Not just locally but also internationally. I can tell you free of charge. I mean, America is trying to do a lot of stuff on zero hunger. The new current administration, they're trying to do a lot of stuff on zero hunger. And I think Feed Something, they have a program they're trying to work on. So agriculture, a lot of people are trying to shed light on agriculture. So in the nearest future, and that's why I advocate, amongst the youth, to try to encourage a lot of youth to go into farming. It's not so comfortable, it's not so convenient, but trust me, it is something that you can, it's highly sustainable. Yes.
Right. That's great.
Thank you.
A question from Shegun Senator. He said, apologies if this question has been answered as I joined late. What's the update on the app? I already have 21 plots. Wow, with Greenhills. I'm looking to acquire more. That's a happy customer right there.
Yes. Thank you very much, Shegun. Like I mentioned earlier, the app, we had to just, we are trying to remodify the app because we had set up the app already and we launched it, so, but unfortunately we were unable to view farms. And that is what people want to see. People want to see how they can access their farms remotely. What the app was, because the app is just being developed. The software is a new software. It's not been used before. No one has this software, right? So it's new, right? And there are errors that will come up, of course. So when we realized that the app, we're not unable to view the map, view the farm, we decided to take it down to remodify it and all of that. But I can guarantee you it's about 75% done, because before coming for this live show, I knew that question would come up, and I decided I made proper inquiries, and we have at least by the end of January, February, we should be up and running. And bear in mind that I mean, the farm is a long-term farm, so January, February shouldn't seem too long for you to wait, please.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
That's good. We'll look forward to that. Um, Olajide Adesonya asked the question. He asked, can people also invest in the processing lines? And look, people looking at other opportunities here too. Like beyond the farm, is there a possibility for investing in the processing line?
So yeah, so with the processing line, that will be different. That will be if Greenhills decides to go public, in terms of sharing and all of that. When we go public, then we can have all of that. But for now, because the processing line is not an area I'm conversant with, I don't want to take people's money into a business that would be giving me problems. Because I have a friend, a major in Nigeria. In fact, the major agro-allied company in Nigeria, and they are big, they are heavily funded. If you probably know a few of these companies, you will probably see my picture on their portals and in their, on their websites. All right. And they imported a cashew processing line of about 1 point something, it was a whole lot of money. All right. And the pillars were pillars for peanuts, not for cashew. What peels the skin? Well, and they brought it in from China. So they had to shut down for a while to correct all that error. Now they've gotten it perfectly. Now they are big, they are huge. They just launched another major line in a fantastic location. I'm not going to say where, but they had this issue. So I wouldn't collect people's money, and I'm into something that we're just about to start testing. I've not really done the processing before, so I don't want to call. I don't know what the guaranteed returns are. I know there's a major return. I know, it's highly profitable. Of course, if I'm adding value to the produce, I'm going to make. Of course, that's what I'm doing. I'm adding value, right? And you can export these things too. So, but let us see how it runs. Then we can now open the business up to the general public again, just like how we opened the farm. If I had not tested the farm, trust me, I would not bring it to the general public. But I've tested it, and I know how it runs, so I can bring it to the general public. Say, trust me with this. Then I can try to make it work, right? But with the processing, please, Mr. Olajide, let's give us some time. Like I mentioned, we're even not starting until 2023. You wouldn't want to put an investment down now and wait, and by that will be yielding produce. That will be yielding a return for you in the year 2023 or 2024. So let's just be patient, right? Let's be patient and focus on the farm for now.
No, I like that. Thank you for being very sort of like just honest with regard to. I think people value that a lot, especially I know the community does. Guys, I don't know if anyone has any other questions. I think we're pretty much done. Actually, one more question here. Actually, somebody asked on YouTube, said I should pose it to you. Vanny Sarah said, please, how can you invest on a cassava farm in Nigeria with the situation in Nigeria now that cows are the first citizen of Nigeria? I don't know.
That what?
That cows are the first citizens, right?
Oh, cows.
And cows. And the person goes on to say, I know that people will, cattle, yes. Okay. I know that people will start to say security, right? But I doubt it because of the situation in Nigeria now. What would you say to that?
I mean, I'm very practical. I'm hands-on. Sassy, remember when you were on my farm, we saw some cattle down the gorge. Do you remember? We saw some cattle that I had to quickly call the security guy to say, hey, guys, look, so we have standby security guys on the farm. They have bikes that move around the farm. And again, is your relationship within the community. And sometimes if you're in a hostile community, you don't even have a good relationship with these people, but we have been very privileged to have a community that has accepted us. The Oloroshogo people are very good to us. We do a lot of CSR there as well. And we do our PR out there as well. The KBC, which is called the Oba, the king, they're the real fathers, the chiefs, they know us, so even when investors are going there and they're like, oh, am I safe? I tell them that, look, they will welcome you with open arms. Once they see our branded belt going there, they know that Greenhills, no problem, we did a very heavy PR there, very heavy amount. So I don't want to say, So back to her question in terms of cattle, it's almost inevitable, right? So what you just need to do is when you have a community, like I said, that accepts you, the community, because they're not the only farmer there, there are other farmers, so they've engaged themselves to say, hey, we would not accept this, so the cattle only visit the surrounding bushes. So sometimes on their way to this, yes, on their way to the surrounding bushes, they might want to pass through your farm. So they're not coming into your farm to graze, right? They just damage the food, your farm by, the stampede, them just passing through the farm. So that most times will be at the boundary, that will be at the entrance. So, a lot of people have now started giving like a major clearance, along their pathway so they can allow the cattle move easily, But I mean, it's been a problem that we're still trying to solve here in this part of the world, the cattle herdsmen issue. But we have a community that has accepted us. We hardly face it in cattle issues on our farm. We hardly have any of that on the farm. So we're good. And we have standby security men. So even when they are trying to get in, they shoot guns, they fire their, I didn't from Palace, but they fire their guns and,
they fire their guns. Of course, yeah.
they shoot their guns and so they're good.
Okay. Final question here.
Oh, I can see someone saying they should give a shout out to my farm manager, Tosin.
Oh, yes.
All right, I'll do that. And Esther, Esther is good. She was ill. Esther was ill on Thursday, so she took Friday off. I'm hoping she'll be back in the office by Monday, And I'll get Tosin is actually the project supervisor. The farm manager is Ademola James. We call him T-Sense. But he's a very quiet guy. Mr. Tosin is one everyone knows. So I'll give a shout out to everyone for you guys. Thank you.
Amazing. So the final question was from Susan Chan. She said, how long is going to stay, like the price of the 1 hectare? I think it's around 2.6 million, she said. I'm not sure if that's the confirmed price on your end, but how long is it going to stay the same? Like, can the prices fluctuate over time? So it's, let us know.
Yeah, of course, cost, Sassy, in Nigeria, the rate of inflation here, the cost of what you, let me just be very literal here, to cook a pot of soup, the cost of cooking a pot of soup in January is definitely not the same cost to take it to cook the same pot of soup here in by this time of the month. Things have gone up, prices have gone up. So the cost of inputs, keep going, keeps increasing by the day, right? So how do we manage these costs? All right, of course, by the time we set up the farm, we generate value. Your land gains value, right? And of course, it gains value because we did the road. We just completed two local bridges on the farm. So all of this is value addition to the area, right? And the value kicks up, that area. So even if a local, this is now not Greenhills, if anyone wants to sell farmlands in that area, a land that probably used to be maybe 500,000 naira per hectare now would have jumped up to maybe a 600 or a 700,000 naira, because you say there's Greenhills there too, they're just right next to Greenhills farm, that kind of thing. So of course the prices will go up. The prices will go up in January as well. We're kicking up our prices in January. To what we don't know, but when after the holiday we would announce, depending on how the new year, and it's not going to be the first, it was until end of January. We'll kick up our prices. When we started this opportunity early this year, the prices we started at 1.5 million. We started at 1.2 million naira per hectare. 1.2 million naira per hectare at the beginning of this year. By mid this year, it had gone to about 1.5 thereabout. Then went to about 1.8. Now it's selling for 2. Then went to 2.2. Then now it's selling for 2.6. So you see, and so you see, so the value of the land,
early.
So it appreciates, and it's still going to keep appreciating because by the time we run the first season, second season, and a lot of people are aware of this and they want to start getting it, it's definitely would have gained value. And I suspect some people want to do real estate on their farms. I purchased my farm at 1.2. I want to sell at 2.6, that kind of thing. All of that, people might want to also do that, although we don't encourage it because we're not a real estate company. We are, but it's your property still, so there are like agreements and all of that you still need to sign when it comes to that. Because if you sell the land and the person wants to use the land for something else, might not be,
in line, of course.
Because it's a farmstead. It's a farmstead, meaning everything around there must be a farm, and we named it Cassava Farmstead, so it must be everything around there must be a cassava farm. So even if I'm not the ones managing your cassava farm or cultivating for you, if you want to do it by yourself, you have to ensure that it's cassava that you're doing there.
Cassava, right?
Yes.
Amazing.
So that's it.
Amazing. That's it.
Thank
Thank you
you.
so much for taking the time. I think a lot of people, I'm sure, would have found this extremely insightful. If they even didn't know anything about cassava farming before, now they do, and they know a lot about it. Thank you for sharing with us.
Thank you
I'll be
so
sure to
much.
share this sort of this session with the group, and I guess put your information, how people can reach you. But you can tell us, how can they reach you? Like, if you want to, after this session, they want to reach out to Greenhills, what's the best way to reach out to the team?
Yeah, we have all social media platforms. We're going to send all of that to you. You can also visit our website. You can reach us directly on, you can even purchase directly from our website. You can come to
Right.
our office. Yeah, you can come down to our office, and then I'll send you the mobile numbers you can call, to reach out to
Okay.
us. Yes.
Perfect. I'll add that to
Thank
the
you.
sort of the description box of this session, so you guys can reference and go directly on there after the session. Thank you
Thank
once
you.
again.
Thank you.
And I guess have a great week.
Thank
See
you
you
very much.
soon.
Thank you very much, guys. I appreciate each and every one of you. Have a blessed week ahead. Bye-bye.
All right. Bye.